Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and we've got some definitely obscure stuff to point out to you today quickly. We've got, yes, an octopus in a pot with a telescope. Why that needs to exist is not a question you should be asking me. You should be asking One Page Rules that, and I am absolutely 100% for it now. They started doing these little sidekick models fairly recently, obviously, with their Empire-type army, which had a very nautical octopus theme, and they've just run all in with it. All 8 arms, in fact. Yeah, I'm banging everything with my terrible jokes. Anyways, so while the fantasy releases have had these, and he's got a key as well. Nope, sorry, that's a wrench. My bad. Sorry, Mr. Octopus. This is going to have to see some paint on it sooner or later. I have not gotten around to a lot of the other Empire models. They had some really great, town guard types. And if you aren't familiar with One Page Rules, well, shame on you, because number one, you should be checking out their rules because they're great. But number two, they've been putting out, for years now, some really steady quality models. They all have the single piece options available, like this guy. But if you want to get really hardcore into the nitty gritty and customize them up yourself, they are broken down bits and pieces wise. So you can do that if that's something you're into. We're not actually going to talk about octopi though today. I wanted to point out whatever these things are. These are the companions that are now joining the Dwarf Guild from One Page Rules. And it looks like a strange cross between an armadillo and a turtle. That is a turtle shell. I don't know. Maybe it is supposed to be an armadillo. Whatever the case may be, they've taken it upon themselves to literally have a sidekick model for every unit of the newly released Dwarf Guild, which I think is pretty darn cool. Will we see some of these critters with weapons in the future? Well, besides this guy with the stack of what look to be like landmines or proximity mines and various bits and pieces of support debris that needs to be removed. No, I have no idea, but I'm all here for it. And I gotta say, besides these things, their new Dwarf Guild models are actually really nice. Just nice, solid models. Now, these are the single piece, and I gotta say, there are a lot of variety in terms of weapons. If you really want to get down and customize up your whole unit, they do have a ton of options. Like, there are iron blasters and flame shots and disintegrator beams and just a ton of stuff. Shotguns, heavy guns, auto guns, big guns, little guns. But the cool thing is, actually, I want to say that the bodies are all generic. It's the heads that actually are going to be different. And they all have different backpacks too, which I thought was kind of a cool little touch. This one's in need of a little bit more cleaning. You can see the tools hanging off of it. And it gets me really curious, actually. Here's one of the male counterparts. Again, totally different gun. Same backpack on him. And I don't have them on bases yet, but we'll show you some. And they also all have an option, if I can find where I put it, for a closed helmet as well. I like how the beard is basically made out of tubing. 3 different variations on heads, and quite a few actual different guns. Because these are the basic warrior types, but then we also have a bunch of heavy weapon options as well. Here you can see one of the variants on the backpack. I like all of their backpacks kind of look like treasure chests as well. Obviously using the one that our friend here is pushing to kind of give you a good idea. And heavy weapons wise, you've got a ton of options there if needed. So that's always a good thing to see as well. In addition to the basic warriors so far, we actually have a full squad. I haven't had a chance to print out. They have the sergeants, medics, communications officers, all those fun roles. They did have a rune master, which I thought was kind of a nice model. Again, different backpack. You can see he's got like all the crystals here. A few of the models have something similar, and I feel like they're supposed to be using those for ammunition or something. Like he's got the little robot arms holding up the runes there. Kind of a nice touch. And some spots I need to clean up. This is another model. The bodies are about the same, but we have some head variations for both a male and female version. And in addition to support all of that, we have the heavy thunder support, which are, like the name implies, quite heavy, substantially larger. Supposedly these are supposed to be on 40 or 50 millimeter bases. I'm still not 100% sure if they're actually supposed to be wearing sleeves underneath that. You can tell he's got actual sleeves on underneath the armor plating. Whereas this one, I can't exactly tell. And I know there's supposed to be some versions that don't have them, like their welding masks. They have an open version as well for both the male and female support models. I'm kind of curious to see what I was talking about with the crystals and stuff. This is one of the rocket launchers. I'm posing them next to each other. You can see there's a bit of a size difference there. So yeah, I'd probably go ahead and put these on a 40 millimeter base at the very least. And besides these models, we also have champion models available. The champions, being again available in both male and female version, have a huge variety of weapons available to them for both hands. And if you want to reverse things, I mean, obviously you can. Nothing is stopping you. Again, different backpack, nice cape. This one has what looks to be a flame pistol and an axe, whereas a male with, well, it's not like we can tell if it's a male or female underneath the helmet, but this is the helmeted version. Again, you can see the wire braiding there, which is kind of a nice touch. Totally different pistol and totally different close combat weapon. There's gauntlets, shields, just the usual variety of weaponry. And I bet the question that everybody is going to be asking, because I know immediately when I found out that one-page rules were making these folks, how do they stack up to what's already out there? Well, let's find out. So actually putting something on a base, as I jam my arm, that's not a GW base. This is. Nope, it's a Legends of Signum base, but close enough. Here we have a typical warrior. And a typical warrior from another company. Now, maybe we should have one without a helmet, just to get a better idea. Size-wise, I'd say the OPR one-page rules models are a little bit bigger. If that's going to be an issue, you can always try tweaking the size to your liking. Personally, I like them. They're a little bit bulkier, easier to handle. I felt that the 40K ones were a little on the smaller side. Maybe that's just me being spoiled with the size and chunkiness of a lot of the stuff that we can 3D print these days. But the more I look at these guys, and the more I look at like the antiquated look of a lot of their weapons, I can't help but think they would be great stand-ins for the Caradron Overlords. I mean, really, with the elaborate helmets. Maybe some models more than others, but like looking at this guy with that helmet on, I mean, I can't help but think they would work really well together. Now, obviously, they're a little bit smaller. I love this model too, and I don't know why I completely forgot this guy existed as he's pounding on his books, but this is the perfect wizard. In fact, I was going to do a video, and maybe I still will one of these days, because I already started to film it, but this guy is like the perfect wizard. I picked up League of Dungeoneers, like the big universal dungeon crawl board game, kind of like Shadows of Brimstone, or the games that predated that. But, yeah. Totally off topic. I think if you've got Overlords with their helmets, I think they'll look great. Same with this actual 40K ones, with some printed guys and gals, just to give you an idea. These are from the recently finished Resin Munitorum's Squat Cat Girls, which you can check out. We had a link on a video previously. That's one of Gomic's short guys, Space Dwarves. But none of them so far have weird turtle mutant armadillo things. Whether we're going to see more of them in the future, I don't know. This is just the initial batch, the first offering, and if it's anything like any of the other previous armies that One Page Rules has fleshed out quite considerably at this point, you're pretty much guaranteed that you're going to have all sorts of units by the time they're done. So if this is something of interest to you, absolutely take a look at the rules, and you might actually want to take a look at their app. Supposedly, I have not had a chance to take a look myself, but everything is on their app, and it makes things a whole lot easier if you're interested in that. And they've got all those links, which are conveniently located on their page, which I conveniently have put down below for you. So if you're in need of sci-fi space-faring dwarven guilds, then by all means, take a look at what they got coming. And maybe the Empire stuff too, because, you know, who doesn't want an octopus empire, right? Yeah. So with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye!